morning, everybody. I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Dan Hughes.
Dan Hughes?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan Hughes.
Wow. Welcome. Welcome.
The people demanded it.
They did. Yeah. They demanded it, correct. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This is your B team. That's right, in action. Happy to be here. And you may know Dan from the Dice Tower. Dan and his daughter Cora have done segments for us for how long, Dan? It's been a couple of years now, right?
5 years. 5 years.
5?
Yeah, and Cora's only 9. So, yeah, since she was 4. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Longer than you, Mike.
Also, what's that?
Longer than you.
This is true, Dan. This is true, as you remind me on a very frequent basis. Also, a designer, a co-designer with his daughter Cora of Cora Quest, coming out soon, huh? Yeah.
Coming out soon on Kickstarter. Well, it's been on Kickstarter. They're delivering soon on Kickstarter. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, Dan, and welcome all of you. And we are very excited to present to you this show that is sponsored by Super Truffle Pigs. Yes, Super Truffle Pigs is a easy to learn and teach game with very fast turns, surprising amount of depth, and a good amount of deduction. Actually, earlier this week, we had a preview go up by Ella for this game. So if you wanted to get an idea of what it's about, you can check that out. But also, maybe you'd like to win a copy of this game. Who wouldn't like to win a copy of this game, I ask you?
I don't think I'm allowed to win a copy of this game, am I?
No, you're not, Dan.
Oh, I think I'm disqualified, Mike.
You are disqualified, but you watching or not, we're giving away 2 copies of the game worldwide, okay? All you need to do if you want to enter is write to us at contest@dicetower.com, and in the subject line, put the word truffle, like the Truffle Pigs. Truffle is the subject, and answer this question in the body of your message. Here's the question. What award did Super Truffle Pigs win? What award did Super Truffle Pigs win? Good luck to everybody who enters, and should be pretty exciting. Have either of you gentlemen ever had truffles before?
No, I'm not paying them prices, Mike. They're expensive. They're expensive.
No,
I've had mushrooms.
When I did pest control,
surely.
When I did pest control for a living, I actually sprayed a warehouse they held truffles. That was the only thing this entire warehouse did. And that was the day that I learned that truffles don't always refer to chocolate.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, no, these are different truffles. These aren't the chocolate truffles. I'm pretty sure they're not going to use pigs to root out chocolate. I don't think that would work, but
it would work. It wouldn't be efficient.
That is true. All right, well, good luck to everybody who enters. Let's get this show started with some contributors.
Hi, I'm Jordan, here to talk about a game that works well on a weeknight. Now, I love roll and write games, and I think they are, almost all of them are perfect for weeknights. And just because they're so, there's very little setup, a lot of them have very low rules overhead, that kind of thing. But one of my favorite roll and write games that came out a couple years ago is On Tour. On Tour is a route connection type game on a dry erase board. And so you're going to have this dry erase board that has a map of the United States or Europe, if you have the new edition. And you're going to be connecting cities. And so you're going to be rolling these 2 dice, D10s, and you're going to roll the dice, and whatever the numbers come up. So if it's a 7 and a 9, for instance, you're going to write a 79 in one of the spaces, and you're going to write a 97 in one of the spaces. So you use both dice, flip-flop them. And then there's cards on the table that are going to kind of tell you what areas of the board you can put them in. And so what you're trying to do is create a continuous line throughout the country, a tour for your band that you're going through, and you're trying to connect as many cities as you can in an ascending order. So you have to go in one ascending or descending direction for the whole tour. And you're trying to connect as many cities as you can. You score some bonus points here and there. But pretty streamlined. It works super well on a weeknight because it has pretty low rules overhead. I just, if I'm playing the game with you, I would have probably described the game in a pretty similar way than that. It is I really like there's not a lot of games about music. I love, seeing bands. I love going to shows, things like that. And so this, it has a fun, appealing theme as well. And bonus points, there's a really great app for it. So if you aren't, if your partner's not interested in playing with you that night, you can play it on your app, and it's a lot of fun. And I really like On Tour. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
You all must have heard the story of the charming valley of Everdell, beneath the boughs of towering trees, among meandering streams and mossy hollows, where a civilization of forest critters thrives. But what you didn't know, that it was not always like this. Corin Everdell is famous for discovering the hidden realm long ago, but it was thanks to 4 heroes who helped Corin Everdell in finding this heaven for civilizations to come. Assalamu alaikum. Everdell is a charming worker placement tableau building engine building game in which you will be setting up your own city of Everdell for these beautiful critters. But the Everdell Hero Saga is a campaign book available on the link shown on your screen, which adds an overarching story during the early days of Everdell, of how the city was formed, the different kind of tribes and tribulations through which the heroes critters had to go through to set up this beautiful city. So if you are looking to add more replayability to your game with a more thematic story which links these missions and objective cards into a coherent story, then look for Hero Saga on the link below. Happy gaming!
And we're back. It's game show time. Are you ready? Dan, are you ready? Chris?
I am.
No. I mean, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to do so bad at this game show. I keep getting the answers wrong.
You're going down, Chris. You're going down.
That's the type of attitude I want to see. So here we have in action, we've got a cross-Atlantic cultural battle, right? We've got someone from the UK, Mr. Dan Hughes, and someone from these United States of America, Mr. Chris Yee. And so what this game show is going to be, it's going to be a bit of a challenge on how well you know each other's foods.
Oh.
How well you know your own foods, both British and American, and how well you know the others' foods, okay?
Yeah.
Are you on board?
Right.
Yeah. And
anybody in the crowd, anybody in the chat, you can kind of play along. I don't think I'd be able to keep track of points for the chat. I think it's very unlikely I'll be able to keep track of points for these two, but I'm going to do my best. So here's where it's going to work. Here's how it's going to work, okay? I have gotten from very reputable sources on the internet even, I've got the rank of the top most popular British foods, top 10 most popular British foods, and the top 10 most popular American foods. Okay, are you with me?
Yeah.
All right.
It's not that complicated, but yeah.
Pay attention, Dan.
I'm paying attention.
Here we go. All right, so here's my elaborate scoring system. First thing that I want you to do right now, you've got paper and pens or pencils, right? First thing I want you to do is I want you to write down what you think are the top 3 foods for each, for British and American, all right? What's going to happen is at the end, we're going to find out you're going to get a point if it's on the list, and you're going to get 3 points if it's in the correct order. All right, so right now, write down what you think are the top 3 foods, British and American. Okay?
Top 3. Wait, the categories, Mike, are British and correct. Is that right?
Wow.
Look, you can give the UK a lot of grief, but the one thing you cannot assault is their culinary tradition.
Yeah, they don't salt it either.
I wouldn't have come on if I knew my homeland was going to be insulted.
It's not being insulted. Actually, you know, that used to be kind of a stereotype of British foods, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
No, it's pretty much the case. Yeah.
Oh,
we have to borrow all our nice food from other people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So have you done that? Because that's just the beginning. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, we've barely gotten started.
This must be
right. So
for people watching.
Here's the next. Well, look, Dan, while they're waiting, they can just get lost in the sheen of your beard. All right. Here's what I want you to do now. I'm going to list alphabetically, and you can't, honor system here, you cannot change things. If something you wrote's not on this list, you're stuck with it. All right. I'm going to list alphabetically the 10 foods that are on each list. I want you to quickly scroll these down, okay? All right. Because then what you're going to do is you're going to put them in order, what you think from 10 to 1. And then I also going to want you to put a percentage of the population that like this particular food, okay?
Yeah.
Now it's getting more complicated, Dan.
It is, yeah.
All right. How this is going to work is you're going to get 2 points if you correctly rank it. You're also going to get 1 point for the closest without going over, and an extra point if perfect. All right.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
I also want to know how many crossovers are on this list.
Man.
Yeah, you'll get.
How many points for crossovers, Mike?
You get 2 points for crossovers. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Alphabetically listed now, starting with the British foods, and I'm going to go relatively quickly, so keep up. All right. Bangers and mash. Okay, beans on toast.
Yeah.
Chips. English breakfast. Fish and chips. Mashed potatoes.
You have 4 foods in England.
Pigs in blankets. Roast beef. Roast chicken. And finally, rounding out the top 10 British foods, soup. Soup. All right. Okay. Let me give you the list of. Let me. All right. Let me give you the list of American foods in alphabetical order. Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. Apple pie. Cheeseburger. Corn on the cob. French fries. Fried chicken. Grilled cheese. Hamburgers. Hash browns. Mashed potatoes. And finally, steak and baked potato, which kind of sounds like it's cheating, but the internet said it, so I'm going to put it in there. All right. All right. So here's the deal. With these lists, I want you to rank them. You know what the 10 foods are now. All right. And I think I already messed up. We're going to probably have to cancel a crossover because I would have had to ask you to do that before I gave you the list, didn't I?
Yeah, that would have been sensible.
Already ruined the show. Take the crossovers out. We already know the correct answer now is 2. There are 2 crossover items. All right. So you don't get any points for that, Dan.
2? Oh, French fries.
Yeah.
Well, French fries
because chips is what you call French fries.
No, they're not. But yeah, okay.
They are, Dan. Look, just because it's a different shape.
Yeah, different texture, different taste. That's like, well, mashed potatoes are the same as chips then, aren't they?
So a fried potato wedge, Dan, and
Mike, look what you've done!
Is a completely different taste, is what you're telling me.
I'd say they're definitely a different texture and relatively different taste. Yeah, different absorbency of the oil creates a different taste. Just because you're a food ignoramus, Mike, doesn't mean to say you have to bring us all down with you. I refute that French fries and chips are the same thing.
I'm really, really regretting having you come along here. Okay, here we go. So you've got to rank them from 1 to 10, and then again a percentage of the population that like that food. Okay. All right. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to keep track of points here.
This
could be trouble, Roy.
Some of these things before, Mike.
Chris, I prefer not to get caught up in the details.
That is your mantra. I'll give you that.
It is. Once you have your lists locked in, let me know, and then we can proceed. And if you are playing along at home, hopefully, you can kind of keep.
No
keep
one's
track
going to be
of
playing
what we
along
got
home,
going on.
Mike. They all
And
switched
everyone
off
is.
as soon as you said
You
cheeseburgers
asked me
and
to write down
hamburgers, two
20
separate things.
things. And then guessed the amount of crossovers, and then told us the amount of crossovers. No one's playing at home, Mike.
Chris, this is outrageous behavior.
Look,
Here we go.
I don't want to have to be the one to say it, but
Are you done, Chris? Because you're sure doing a lot of yapping.
I'm trying to fill the silence.
All right. So again, a reminder of points, because this is going to help me figure out what I'm doing as well. You're going to get 1 point if it's on the list for the top 3 foods, 3 points if it's in the correct order, so I'm going to check on that first. Then you're going to get 2 points if you have it in the correct ranking, 1 point for whoever's closest without going over, and you'll get an extra point if it's perfect for the popularity.
all right. And when you say percentages, Mike, is this
Mhm.
all of the different
Out of
percentages here
out of
add up to
100%. Yeah, out of 100%, what percentage of the population likes this food?
And the totals of all of them have to add up to 100, right? It's not, hey, 80% of people like XYZ thing, right?
No. Each food is its own its own
percent.
discrete thing. Yeah.
Got it.
If these are the top 10 most popular foods, Chris, obviously, the numbers are going to be relatively high, I would think. Common sense would dictate that, I would think.
I'm struggling here. There's a lot of writing down.
I
Never
thought you did
signed
all
up
the
to-
writing before. All you're doing is writing numbers now, Dan. You're just
I know,
scrolling
but
numbers
numbers
down.
are even harder than
You're asking us
words.
to come up with 10 different percentages that add up to 100%, Mike.
No,
They
he's
don't
not.
add up to 100, Chris. You're misunderstanding this.
Okay,
They
so
don't
you're
add up
saying
to
they
100.
don't add up to 100. Got it. See, if you were
Roy,
answering my question
help me
instead of
out
making
here.
fun of me,
Help me out here,
then
Roy.
maybe I would have got it.
Each item, you're going to say what percentage of people in each country like that item? It's not going to add up to 100.
Oh, I'm having a nightmare.
I should have just gone on to BGG and picked a bunch of games and had you do that. But
Maybe
mine
you
aren't
could
gonna
have
have any relevance
a game
to
show to
that.
someone, Mike, who has hosted a game show in the past.
You should have done me. I told you I should have been in charge.
look,
No.
Dan did do
This-
that. Holy cow, you're
this
right.
mutiny will not be tolerated. All right, are we almost ready?
Well, I've done one. Yeah, no, but yeah.
You're making the classic mistake of trying to win. All right.
I'm making the classic mistake of trying
I'm
to
not
make the
even-
percentages line up with my order. That's the problem.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
These are all wrong, but they are numbers.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. I feel like I need to bring a sand timer out here.
All right. Well, I'm nearly done. I've done the British
Okay.
side now.
Now, Dan, no, I won't ask you any questions because I don't want to slow you down anymore. I just was going to make a joke about make sure yours aren't in metric.
What kind of food is steak and baked potato? They don't go together particularly well, do they?
Steak
They
and
don't
baked
go
potato
together
was a
particularly
classic combination, Dan. That's a classic
You
combination.
open up the baked potato and just slide the steak inside, then close the baked potato.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
is
will
that how you
tonight,
eat it?
just to spite you, Dan. That's
Called
dinner.
it's a steak and potato pie is what that's called, isn't it?
Ah, nice.
I don't think that pigs and blankets go particularly well together, but that's just me.
Look.
Oh, they do. They're lovely. Are pigs and blankets. Do you know what pig and blanket is? You know,
Yeah, that's
I
just
do. Why don't you
pancake,
explain
right?
it for us in
Pancake
case
batter.
people don't know?
it's a sausage or a sausage, as they call it in France, and with bacon around it, or bacon in French.
It's interesting. The picture I saw on the internet when they were talking about it showed it wrapped in like a pastry of some type.
That's just fancy. That's probably the BBC Good Food Guide where no one follows those recipes, do they?
All right,
I've
here we
never
go.
heard of-
Here we go.
I've never heard of
Are
pigs
we
and blankets
ready?
using bacon as the wrap before, but
Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going to start with the British foods first, all right?
Okay.
At number 10, Pigs in Blankets. Did either of you have that?
Yes, I did.
You had that at number 10. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 points for Dan.
Yeah.
Did not.
Okay, now tell me what percentage of the population? Dan first.
50.
Chris.
40.
The correct answer was 71, so Dan's going to get another point for that. 3 points for Dan, none for Chris. All right.
A lot of my
Number
other
9.
answers are going to be wrong.
Perfect. Number 9, Bangers and Mash. Did either of you have that? Bangers and Mash at number 9.
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
Percentage, Chris.
60. I crossed the 65%.
Dan.
Also 65%.
All right, you each get a point, 71%.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on the board.
All right, at number 8 is soup. Soup. Did either of you have soup at the number 8?
No.
All right,
I didn't
Dan,
know
your
soup was
percentage.
so controversial.
Your percentage on soup, Dan.
70%.
Ooh, Chris, your percentage?
40.
The correct answer was 74. Dan gets a big point for that. So right now
In
we're
your
at.
face, ye.
Oops.
Oh,
Right now we're
40%
at-
of people like soup. What a foolish answer that was.
5-1. 5-1. At number 7 is something that sounds just amazingly disgusting to me, and that is beans on toast. Beans on toast at number 7. Either of you have that?
No.
Nope.
You're awful at this game. All right, Chris, Dan, your percentage.
50. It's controversial. A lot of people don't like beans.
Chris,
86.
you went
Clearly
over
wrong.
74%. 6 points to Dan. Now, keep in mind, we're doing British foods first, so he's going to have the advantage here, Chris. Your time will come.
Home ground advantage. It's true.
All right. At number 6, we have roast beef. Did either of you have roast
Hey!
beef at 6?
I did.
You did, Chris? Chris, you did?
I did.
All right, so that's 2 points for Chris. So right now we're at 6 for Dan, 3 for Chris. Percentage, Dan, for roast beef.
80%.
Chris?
50.
Chris gets the point. It was 77%. It's 6-4 now. All right, at number 5, mashed potatoes.
That would be me.
You had that too, Chris?
I did.
Chris is storming back. We're tied at 6-6. Chris, your percentage for mashed potatoes.
55.
Dan?
65.
The correct answer is 80%. Dan gets 7 points. At number 4, we have, I'm surprised that this was not higher. Fish and chips is only number 4.
Yeah,
Did either of you have that?
I got it.
Really? Wow. 2 more points for Chris. We're at 8-7. It's a barn burner. Chris, what's the percentage?
62.
Ooh. Dan?
75.
83 was the correct answer. Dan gets the point here. It's 8-8. See, this game just needed a little bit of preliminary work. Now it's just flying along.
It
All
needs
right.
some work, is what it needed. But anyway, yeah, go on.
At number 3, we've got roast chicken. Anyone have roast chicken at 3?
Absolutely not.
You guys are horrible at this. Dan, percentage?
75 for roast chicken.
All right, Chris. Just you saying roast chicken
40.
for some reason is funny to me. What did you say?
40.
40, and Dan,
40.
yours was? Dan, yours was?
75.
85 is the correct answer. Dan takes the lead with 9-8.
Oh,
All right, number 2 is an English breakfast. Now, Dan, you normally call it something different, right?
well,
What do you
full
normally-
English, you might call it. Full
A
English.
full English breakfast. That's correct. A
Yeah.
full English breakfast. Did you get the placement right on that, Dan?
I did, yeah, I did.
Ooh, 2 more points. So right now you're at 11.
Yeah.
Percentage, Chris?
Yeah, 40.
40?
Dan?
Sorry, I'm shouting into the microphone. 80. I'm just getting more and more outraged. Like, this is
85%, Dan. You got very close to, so we're at 12-8 right now. All right. You want to briefly describe what's in an English breakfast, Dan? A full English breakfast?
a full English breakfast. You've got nice sausage, you've got baked beans, you've got some bacon, maybe some hash browns if you're feeling a little bit daring. Some black pudding, which you had when you came to visit me, Mike.
I
Some
did.
nice blood sausage.
I did. That's
That is indeed very
absolutely true.
full.
Yeah.
All
It's,
right. So that clearly means that number 1 is chips. Did either of
Yeah.
you have chips as the number 1 answer?
I did, yeah.
You did, Dan? Wow. So you are at 14 to Chris's measly 8. Percentage, Chris, what did you have for chips?
65.
Dan, what did you have?
90.
Chris gets it. It's 86%.
What?
You went over.
All
right,
right,
so
right
Dan.
now,
You flew too close to the sun.
That's right.
I'm like
So right now
Icarus.
we're at Dan with 14, Chris with 9, but now we're going to the American side of things where Chris has the decided advantage. Here we go. Here we go. At number 10, we have apple pie. Did either of you have apple pie at number 10 spot?
No.
No.
I've given
right.
up by this point. Yeah.
What is the percentage that you had, Dan?
65 on apple pie.
All right, Chris?
I put 80.
Oh, talk about flying too close to the sun. The correct answer is 78. Dan gets the point for that.
Bad luck.
15 to 9. All right. At number 9, we have corn on the cob. No? Okay.
Nope.
Percentage, Dan?
50.
Chris?
42.
79%. Dan is crushing you, Chris. Are you embarrassed? All right.
In your own homeland. On your own
Tacos
turf,
wasn't on
Chris.
this list. I call foul.
What wasn't on the list, Chris?
Tacos.
Well, this is American foods. All right. Hash browns is number 8. Nobody?
I got that.
Chris, all right. So you're at 11 now. We're at 11 to 16. Dan, what percentage of the American population likes hash browns?
Well, I know now it's probably 80, but I put 70.
70. Chris, what did you
I
say?
put 51.
The correct answer was 80, Dan. So you are going to get a point for that. Now you won't get 2 because I'm not going to let you
I
work
cheated.
proactively.
I cheated. I'm only going off the other answers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. At number 7, we've got the controversial steak and baked potato.
That isn't a meal. That isn't a meal. I'm Googling that now.
Neither of you
Yeah,
had
you
that.
put the mashed potato on the side of the steak. You eat the,
That's correct,
the protein and you eat the carb
The
on the
starch.
side.
Yes,
What
yes.
do you mean mashed? You
Neither
said,
is served with some
you said
vegetable.
baked
like
potato, not mashed potato.
Baked potato, correct. You put it on the side. This isn't a complicated situation. Okay. Neither of you had that at number 7, right?
No.
All right. Chris, what percentage of the population likes steak and baked potato?
70.
Dan?
55 because it's a ridiculous made-up dish.
81% is the correct answer. So Chris is at 12 to Dan's 17. All right.
Back
Coming
on the
in
board,
at-
baby.
Coming in at number 6, cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. Anyone have that at 6? Nope. All right. Chris, percentage?
90.
Whoa. Dan?
85.
You both went over 81%. Neither one, nobody gets the points for that one.
I
It's the first
object,
time I've had-
I
know
object
it's
to
good
this
for
as well.
them.
I object to it on the grounds that you've got the same dish in twice. You've got
But the
cheeseburger and
cheese
hamburger.
absorbs the oil differently, Dan.
No,
It
this is
absorbs
different.
the oil differently.
No. So it says putting tomato ketchup on it, a third dish. Is this what you're
Look.
saying? Gherkins
I
are
don't know,
all.
is a chip different than a French fry, Dan?
Right. So we've got chips, we've got fish and chips, and we've got mashed potatoes. Those aren't all three basically the same thing, Dan? Your
Fish is
argument is invalid.
rubbish. Fish is
All right.
significantly different to a piece of cheese.
All right, you did it,
Number
Mike. You got Dan to say rubbish on the air.
That's
We
correct.
can call the game now.
I was really hoping I could work Chip Buddy into this somehow, but I couldn't.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right, and number five is fried chicken. Fried chicken. Anyone have that at number 5?
No.
All right. Chris, the percentage of Americans that like fried chicken.
42.
Dan?
65.
Correct answer is 82. All right, Dan is at 18 to Chris's 12. All right, at number 4 is grilled cheese. I was very surprised this was up this high. I'm actually surprised it was in the top 10.
Yeah.
You
I
got
got
that
it
one,
at
Dan?
Yeah.
You got that at 4?
What number was this, Mike?
4.
Oh, no.
So Dan is at 20 to Chris's 12.
Wow.
Oof.
How do
All right, percentage, Dan.
I presume grilled cheese isn't just cheese put on a grill, is it? Is there bread involved?
Ah, see, this is perfect. Yes, grilled cheese is very simply 2 pieces of bread with cheese in the middle, grilled with butter on a nice flat top grill if you can do it, or in a pan. Yeah.
Cheese toasty is what it is. Just learn to speak English.
Cheese toasty. That's what it is, Dan.
Dan, the oil distribution is different between the cheese
It's different.
toasty.
It's a different food, Dan. It's a completely different food. All right. Percentages for grilled cheese. Dan?
70.
Chris?
I also put 70.
Then you're both going to get a point. Obviously, it's 83 points.
There you go, Dan. See some international healing coming.
Yeah, yeah,
21,
with our cheese
21 to 13.
We are the world.
All right. Number 3 is what I'm betting both of you put as the number 1. Number 3 is hamburgers.
I got hamburgers, number 3.
Wow. Dan, you are a food savant.
I am.
Chris, you did not get that?
No, I put that as number 2, unfortunately.
You're horrible. All right, Chris, percentage.
85.
Dan?
80.
Chris? 84. Sorry.
Well, Americans don't know what's good for them. I will tell them what's good for them.
For the benefit of Roy and everybody else, right now we are at 24 for Dan and 13 for Chris. Here we go. Number 2 is French fries.
Oh.
No one got that? All right. Percentage, Chris?
80.
Dan?
I think Chris has got this because I got 90.
Correct answer is 84. Chris gets that one. He is now at 14. All right, here we go.
Mashed potatoes.
Very surprising. Number 1 is mashed potatoes. I find that very hard to believe. But
what
look,
parts
it's
of
on
the
the
dark web
internet.
did you go to get this information?
Let's not get caught up in the details, Chris.
It wasn't
All right.
mashedpotatolovers.com, was it?
It may have been. Mashedpotatoes.org. All right.
Yeah.
So neither of you got that as first place. I doubt anyone did. What is the percentage, Dan, for mashed potatoes?
80.
Chris? We lost Chris.
We lost Chris.
We
He's
lost
got off in a
Chris.
sulk.
He did. Dan, I'm going to assume that you won that because it was 84. So right now, that puts us at 25. 25 to 14. Dan, you won. You won convincingly. And I'm hoping against hope, that Chris didn't just storm off in a huff because he knew that this was an automatic loss.
It's clear he did. And it's clear we've settled once and for all which is the better nation, the United Kingdom or the United States. And I'm afraid, you tried his best. It was a good effort for Chris, but at the end of the day, we are the champions.
All right. Well, Dan, I will not get into all of this competition, but you did win, and congratulations on that. I think it's time for us all to take a breath and to check out some contributors.
Hi, this is Ambie from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about Doom Gloom Dungeon, which is a solo dungeon crawling card game. In the game, you're trying to defeat all of the monster cards in a monster card deck before you run out of cards in a hero card deck. Each turn, you're flipping over a monster from the monster card deck and then playing cards from your hand of hero cards in order to defeat it. Each monster has a different health value, and some have special abilities too. The strength of the weapons that you play plus a die roll determines your attack value, so you have to meet the health of the monster in order to defeat it. But if you don't defeat the monster, you discard your weapons anyway, and the monster stays in play, so you have to defeat it again later in order to win the game. There are also special types of monsters that can only be defeated by certain weapons, so you have to save those special weapons to make sure you have enough to defeat those special monsters. Another type of special weapon is a spear, which can actually defeat 2 monsters at once. So if you have monsters that you haven't defeated, they stack up, and you can defeat the first one, and it also automatically defeats the second one if you used a spear. So you want to plan ahead and save up some good weapons so that you plan your turns efficiently and kill monsters efficiently. Because if you run out of weapons, then you can't kill all the monsters and you'll lose. Overall, Doom Gloom Dungeon is a quick but difficult solo dungeon crawling game. Bye!
Hey wonderful humans, Anthony here from Board Game Dads, back to talk to you about another Zoomable game. This time we're going to be sailing the high seas in Jamaica. Jamaica is essentially a racing game where you will take your pirate ship and sail around the island of Jamaica. However, along the way you're going to be encountering some battles with other pirates, finding some secret treasures, and you're going to have to pay some food to stay out to sea, and maybe even some money to stay at some ports. This is a game where you choose a card from your hand secretly, place it face down, and then reveal it when everyone's ready. All of the cards in Jamaica have 2 symbols on them, and the person who's the active player will be rolling 2 dice, and then decide which one of these dice values will be the morning and which one will be the evening. So you play your card, and then you do those 2 actions, which either lets you move your ship backwards, forwards, or gather some food or gunpowder, and maybe even some doubloons. Now, even though it is a race, you don't necessarily win just by being the first person to the finish line. However, you will get the most extra points if you do so. At the end of the game, you just count up all of your doubloons, plus any maybe secret treasures that might be giving you points, and any points you got from finishing along the race. So, how does this play over Zoom? Well, you do definitely need to both own the game, but it's very important that you have a lot of communication with the people you're playing with in this game in terms of where your ship is, especially because there's battles and then you move backwards and you might get into another battle. So you got to keep track of that. As far as the treasure cards go, say, you're hosting the game with the cards, but one of the players you're playing with lands on a treasure space. We've been doing just flip up the card, don't look at it, hold it up to the camera so only that person can see. They then find that card in their treasure deck, which there's not that many to go through, so it's not that big of a deal. Even though each player has their own deck of cards in this game, it works for Zoom because every deck is exactly the same. You're really just picking a player color. But maybe you've tried it before. Let me know in the comments below. And until then, have a great day and a great breakfast, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, board gamers. BJ from Boardgame Gumbo here, back on the breakfast with another episode of Lanyap. That's right. I'm bringing you projects that won't break your budget, but throw in a little something extra. Here's what I'm checking out this week. Wicked and Wise is a brand new trick-taking game by Fortessa Elise out on Kickstarter right now from Weird Draft Games. It plays from 2 to 6 players in about an hour. It's already funded, and I think a big part of it is because of the twist on trick-taking and the gorgeous artwork. I mean, just look at that cute little mouse. So what's the elevator pitch? Mice and dragon teams are going to work together to score the most points. Dragon players are the ones taking the tricks in traditional trick-taking style, but they need the help of the mouse partner to score the real points. The game is played over 3 rounds, and in each one, the mouse and dragon partners will team up to work on competing goals for each trick. Plus, the dragon has special treasure cards that are absolutely game breakers, which is a fun way to ramp up the tension in the game. Note, I've played the game with prototype components. The final artwork will be revealed during the Kickstarter campaign. If we had any issues with the game, it's that this is by all means not an intro to trick-taking games. Some familiarity with the concepts are needed. The turn structure is just different from anything we've ever seen before. But once you get that down, the game starts to sing along as the partners get into a rhythm. Plus, there's a little bit of lanyap. The team from Weird Giraffe is throwing in a custom dragon meeple for the first player marker. Plus, they designed a playmat you can add to your pledge to help with the game flow. Game's only $25 plus shipping, and that's a lot of game in this little package. Hey, so that's Wicked and Wise out on Kickstarter right now from Weird Giraffe Games. It's a thematic trick-taking partnership game with a twist and some unique mechanics and a little bit of lanyap, the dragon first player marker, and that sweet playmat. Until next time, laissez-les bon temps rouler.
All right. Well, we've recovered Chris Yee, who I thought had stormed out in a huff because of the loss. But no, it just turns out that had some technical difficulties. But he's back. He's back.
My computer battery died out of outrage. Is what
That's correct. That's correct. All right. Well, let's take a look at some news, gentlemen, shall we? Are we ready for some news?
I am.
First up, we've got some Bonanza news in a little card game that you may have heard of by Uwe Rosenberg. So Bonanza,
the new hotness, Mike. The new hotness.
It is the new hotness. Yeah, this is a game that is now being kind of reclaimed by Amigo in the English market. It was being controlled by Rio Grande for a while, and so Amigo is now taking Bonanza and at least one of the expansions, and it's changing the player count. I think it's like now 3 to 7. And kind of re-implementing it for the English market with at least some of the expansion stuff that was involved in earlier sets. So
some lovely updated art there.
Yeah.
Really cutting edge stuff. Yeah.
Now look, The Bonanza art is, I know it's a little divisive, but I don't know. I think it works for this game. It doesn't bother me.
It's iconic. I'm only joking.
Sure.
It'd be a shame if they changed it even, I would say.
It
would,
works
actually.
for the game is the way to say it. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, and it's still a card game that people play, I think, to this day. Obviously, if Amigo's putting out, a new version of it, and there've been many expansions to it and riffs on it. There's been dice game versions of it and everything else. So it also says that Amigo will likely, over time, bring out some of the other expansions that had been released previously. So
if they do not bring back Napoleon Bonaparte, I have no part of this.
Actually. This game, now that I think about it, this game has all those types of puns, doesn't it? And I bet this is right up your alley, right?
I'm not sure Napoleon Bonaparte is a pun. Surely it should be Beanapart or Bonabean or something like that. Napoleon Bonaparte was his name.
But you put here's my bone apart.
Oh,
right. But
now
I'm gonna guess, and I could be completely off base here, but is bone bean in German?
Yes, I can tell you unequivocally that is what's happening. Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. Moving on. We don't normally cover Kickstarter projects on the news here, but this one I think is interesting because it's not really so much about the fact that it's going to Kickstarter. This is Dr. Finn or Steve Finn of Dr. Finn's Games. He's well known for a lot of mostly filler type games. I think his most popular game is probably Biblios, but he's put out a lot of different games. In 2020, September of 2020, he kickstarted 4 titles at once. Okay, Biblios, Quill and Parchment, which is basically like a roll and write version of Biblios, Mining Colony, Nanga Parbat, and the Butterfly Garden. Most, if not all of which we've reviewed on the channel, I believe. Okay, so he kickstarted all of those at one time. And he's doing the same thing again, 4 new titles that are going to be all kind of packaged together. You can get them individually through this project, or you can get them, I believe, probably a little bit cheaper if you buy them as a bundle, would be my guess. But what's interesting, a couple of things are interesting, is one is that he said here that allowing backers to choose what they wanted in one go has everything shipped at once. He says, for my small and independent company, this makes international freight, which is now getting out of hand, much more reasonable. So I'm wondering if this is going to be more of like a pattern we see where publishers, if they can, kickstart a number of different games or crowdfund a number of different games just to kind of deal with some of the shipping issues.
Mm-hmm.
So really quickly, go ahead, Chris, what?
Oh, I was going to say, and sometimes I know people will say when you see bundles of games, it leads to that idea that, oh, maybe they're tacking on some game that's not very good. Yeah. Having played all 4 of these Steve Finn games, I will say that even though I wasn't a fan of 2 of them, I could see the audience for them. But one of them, Mining Colony, really surprised me. Mm-hmm. It's actually the least appealing out of them all. So I think visually, these bundles, it was my favorite game of the bunch. So I don't know, these bundles would be an interesting thing to see going forward.
Yeah. So here, just really quickly, Alpujarras is the first one, 2 to 4 players. Then next up, we've got The Feds, and this one is kind of based or inspired by an earlier game of his from 2013 called Gun Runners. All right, so another 2 to 4 player game. These are all looking relatively small. Then we've got The Fisheries of Gloucester. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that.
That's shocking. It's Gloucester, and I strongly object to this game because Gloucester is landlocked. There's no sea at Gloucester. There's a river, but there's no sea.
Okay.
Sure, this old salty sea dog sitting on a dock of the bay, you might even say, and there's no sea there. What's he doing?
How do you know this isn't Gloucester, Nevada, here in the United States?
Correct. Well, which has got waterways for miles. So you're making an objection to this because Gloucester does not have the type of fishing you think that is being represented here?
Yeah, maybe somebody in a pond. If there's someone standing by a pond with a rod and line. I mean, granted, I don't actually know the economy of Gloucester very well, and it's quite close to a very large river. But as far as I'm aware, there isn't a fisheries industry in Gloucester. So therefore, this game should be banned. Unless there's a Gloucester in I don't know, Canada or something like that. I don't know.
Or Massachusetts, perhaps?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is there a Gloucester, Massachusetts? Because I'm curious now. I'm wondering if Chris is going to be Googling this. I'm wondering if there's a little confusion here. But also, Dan, if you've never been pond fishing, you've never been fishing.
Oh yeah.
Pond fishing is where it's at.
Getting those minnows.
Isn't that where the fish for fish and chips come from? Are all exclusively ponds?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the muddier the better.
Chris, do we have an answer yet?
Mike, did you know about Massachusetts? Was that just a guess you threw out?
No, I thought there was a Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Yeah, there is. It's an off. It's a little bit off of Boston. So,
Dan, would you like to retract everything you said in this last few minutes?
No, because I still object. because right. you've stolen the place name as well. So it's wrong.
Well, Gloucester, Dan, to be fair, is located within New England. So there is that. If this is the new and improved England.
And just to spite you, Dan, we pronounce it Gloucester here.
Gloucester, yeah.
All right, so I'm actually, all joking aside, I'm actually pretty intrigued by this title. I like the theme. I like the cover. So that's the one that's most intriguing to me.
Yeah,
and I like that it upset Dan.
Yeah, that's a bonus. Last of the games that he's going to be offering in this group, I'll get to that in a second, is the Little Flower Shop dice game. This is based off of an earlier game of his that I have played called the Little Flower Shop, which is kind of a set collection type of a game, very charming little filler type game. And this is going to be a dice version of it. It looks like it might be a roll and write potentially, or at least it has dice. I don't know if it's a roll and write, but I'm interested in this because I liked the Little Flower Shop. Either of you played that?
It should be called the Littler Flower Shop, though. So I'm not happy about that. But yeah,
Dan, is it safe to assume you're not going to be backing this project?
But not with those outrageous titles. That's too. And the Fed's called the Rosas.
Last thing about this is that he's also going to be releasing at the same time a quartet of what he's calling express games.
The Littlest Flower Shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
2-player games that use at most 40 cards that are all based on those 4 games. So this is another interesting thing where he's kind of taking all of those games and releasing them. You can get them separately or together. And then they've got these express games, which are 2-player small card games based on those themes. And so he was basically saying that he was trying to come up with stretch goal ideas because of the expectations of Kickstarter. So the idea of making a 2-card game based off of the theme appealed to him. And he was happy with it when he played around with it, and he was able to do it for all of them. So I don't know, it's an interesting idea. I like seeing publishers, designers try to do things a little bit outside of the box to pivot and react to some of the realities of the market right now. And this seems to be an attempt to do that. So
yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on, Star Wars Armada. Now, this is something that has been in the news here relatively frequently because the product line, Star Wars Armada product line, was taken over by Atomic Mass from Fantasy Flight, right? And so the news here is that they're not currently developing any new products for the Armada miniatures line. They're going to continue to produce the product, reprint the product that had been out there already, but it really remains to be seen whether there are going to be new products within this line. So I don't know. Do either of you ever play Armada? Were you ever collectors of Armada?
No, I used to play X-Wing before it all got restarted. I think there's 2 ways of looking at it from a player's point of view. You can either look at it like, oh no, my game's ending or feels like it's ending. But also there's something nice about having a complete game with loads and loads of things to choose from, especially if the things remain available. It means that you know what's out there, so you can use that. So you don't always feel like you need to be after the next big thing and worried about the meta's going to move on and things like that. So a bit of both, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea.
Yeah, I've avoided collectible games because of, I like holding on to my money when possible, but I don't know. It's tough, and this is the reason, right? Because if I were to be really invested in the game, this would be disappointing news in a lot of ways. So I wonder if I would be able to look at kind of what Dan said and say, this is a good thing.
I don't think many people will do it. Certainly not what I've seen on the internet that people aren't doing, but
Yeah, just to reiterate, though, they said that they are going to continue to support the game with reprints of existing products and with organized play initiatives in 2022 and beyond. So they're not giving up on it. They're just, it sounds like, at least for the time being, they're not producing new product lines for it. So
I'll be curious to see what shakes out in the next year or two from that.
Exactly. Next up, we have a game from Gamewright called Yokai, a spirited memory game. So it's going to be in stores in September. So, it looks like a light little memory game, 39 cards, 2 to 4 players, plays in about 20 minutes, $10 retail, $9.99 retail. So Gamewright has been coming out with some really good stuff, really, as long as I can remember, but lately especially.
Forever, Gamewright are a fantastic company for kids games. Yeah, and this looks beautiful.
It does.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the. I mean, all I have to go from here is the box cover, but I like the cover a lot.
Right.
Okay, another release that's going to be coming into retail is from Arcona Studios. This is Small Railroad Empire. So I don't know much about this. It says that players construct railroad tracks and transport goods from industries to cities to earn prestige. So it sounds a little bit like, a pick up and deliver train game. 2 to 4 players, 30 minutes. So I don't know. I kind of like the idea of that, because some of my issues with train games is that oftentimes they overstay their welcome for me. So I'd be interested in if this really is kind of a pick up and deliver train game in 30 minutes. That might be good.
It might be. It wins my 2022 prize for most underwhelming title of all time. In the UK,
if the title doesn't do it for you, Dan, at least look at the cover.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
In the UK in the 80s, there was a competition amongst newspaper editors to make the most, to be able to get the worst headline through all the kind of sub-editors and things like that. And the eventual winner was Small Earthquake, Not Many Dead. And I think this is that kind of, that has that very much that spirit.
Very much. Yeah. Also quite morbid. All right, here we go. Moving on. Fog of Love. This has now been acquired by Floodgate Games. So Fog of Love was an interesting, I never played it, but from what I know of it, almost a bit of a mix between a role-playing game and a board game. Very, very much, a kind of different than a lot of board games out there. And it used to be Hush Hush Games, that I believe is now out of business, but Floodgate now picked it up. And what's interesting is that in addition to the content expansions that were out there before, there were 3 of them, they're going to be releasing a new one called Love on Lockdown that was inspired by the events of 2020, which made romantic relationships more challenging due to the pandemic. So a very interesting kind of angle on this. I think that if they had kind of come up with this when COVID was still in its first flush, I wonder if this would have been received well. But I do think that now this could be something that people might be very interested in.
Yeah. And it was incredibly popular for a while, wasn't it? Fog of Love. I mean, with very mainstream popularity as well. Lots of people.
It was in Walmart stores here in the States.
Yeah. And I know it sold loads of copies. So yeah, good luck to them. I've not played it, but yeah.
Yeah, I have not either. I think that I'd heard differing reports. Like some people had said, you probably shouldn't play this with you if you have a romantic partner. You probably shouldn't play it with them. Other people said that it's best to play it with your romantic partner, if any. I don't know. I just never actually got into a situation where it would have made sense to play it. So
it was an interesting game. I haven't revisited. I played it years ago when it was relatively new, before the expansions or anything even. It was fine. I don't know. It was more of an interesting experience, I think, than I was. I've got to win and hit my target. But so I don't know. This would be interesting. See if it revitalizes some interest in it. I'm not terribly interested in, the lockdown portion of it, but maybe some people are okay with that.
It depends on how they handle it, I think. I think it's an interesting idea, at least.
It comes with a free copy of Zoom. That's what, yeah.
All right, now we've got a series of Funko Games holiday titles. Now, they've done these in the past, these small holiday-themed games, and what's kind of cool about them is that they're all very, very inexpensive. They all retail for $6.99. So they're small box card games, and almost all of them, I think, are right around 20-minute gameplay. So they're going to be, also based on intellectual properties that many people are familiar with. The first one is Chip and Dale Christmas Treasures, where Chip and Dale have found their way into the Christmas tree. Help them collect treasures and treats. So I don't know. Obviously this is being marketed towards younger players, ages 5 up.
Well, it's not, Mike. It's not. Because Chip and Dale's not really around anymore. It's been marketed to the parents to buy them for their Christmas presents. That's what it's been marketed to.
There's that, but there's also a new Disney Plus series that just came out with Chip and Dale. So
yeah,
maybe, we'll see two more down then, and then we'll see who's right.
All right. Well. That was Chip and Dale. The next one up is Disney's Cookie Swap game. 2 to 5 players, 20 minutes. It's a flipping and finding game. Yeah. Flipping and finding game.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the one that Dan was talking about. No. Next one. I've got issues with Jingle All the Way. It's Turbo Time. Dan, I agree with you. No kid is going to know this intellectual property. And if I had my druthers, nobody would know this intellectual property. My opinion is that this could be my least favorite holiday film of all time. Now, nothing against the game. I know nothing. The game might be fine. 2 to 4 players, 20-minute game time. I absolutely despise this movie.
It's Sinbad's finest role. Don't take that away.
That's saying a whole lot, Dan. That's saying a whole lot right there.
It was between this and that darn cat. So,
yeah, the game might be fine. I do find this to be an odd choice. I think, Dan, on this one, you're absolutely right. This is only trying to appeal to parents who remember this movie.
The poor parents have to try and explain this to their kid.
Yeah.
The parents the people who are buying this are going to be buying it for younger kids. And Jingle All the Way is a very old film now. You'd have thought a lot of those parents will have kids in their teens who aren't going to be interested in playing Turbo Time. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I hope it's a good game, but boy, that movie I absolutely did not like. All right, and then next we've got Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, Making Christmas. 2 to 6 players, 20 minutes. Gather toys from Halloween Town for Jack Skellington to deliver on Christmas. So this is one of those intellectual properties that just keeps going. I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't made more of these films because they still seem to have a lot of appeal. So
I bet it's Tim Burton not wanting to do it. Yeah.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. And then finally,
the Nightmare Before Thanksgiving doesn't sound like it has much as appeal.
This is true. And then finally, we've got Disney Princess Present Party. So 2 to 4 players, 20-minute gameplay. And this one is saying ages 3 and up. So I think this is going for, maybe the smallest age kids. And it says work together to sort the giant jumble, spin the spinner and pull presents from the bag, give and swap each gift. So I think that could be very cute for little kids. So the thing that I like the most about this whole line is just how reasonably priced it is. And I think that these are being set up as stocking stuffers. Great ideas for stocking stuffers, right? $7. Looks like they'll fit in a stocking if your children like the intellectual properties. I think it could be a great gift.
And hopefully, if it's coming from Funko Games, there's a competent card game, even if not fantastic or great. This is better than getting gifted your 7th copy of Scrabble or Monopoly.
Or Boggle.
I like Boggle.
I like Boggle too, actually. All right, here we go.
I like Boggle, yeah.
Going from very small filler type games to what looks to be kind of a big, old school looking Euro. This is Virtue, I imagine, or Virtue. Taking the remarkably unique theme of the Italian Renaissance, but Super Meeple, who I have liked a lot of the stuff, a lot of the games that they've done, and I kind of like the looks of the components of the board. Although the map, the board is just a big map of Italy there, but I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued. It looks like this is not going to be coming to English edition until 2022, but a French edition in November. So hopefully not long after English and German editions are saying in 2022. Middle Ages, Renaissance, each player model embodying one of the powerful Italian cities, trying to make it more powerful. And it says that the foundation of the game, Chris, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Wheel building. Wheel building.
Whoa.
Creating a wheel of actions on
Where's
your
the
personal
wheel
player
and those
board.
components? There's none.
That's a good
Well,
question.
I think you make it on your own board.
I'll tell
I
you
don't
one thing. This looks dry. This looks boring, and has a little kooky hook. I'm in.
Yeah.
This has Chris Yee written all over it. I thought that as soon as I saw this. I thought this is a Chris Yee game,
The 2 is
100%.
actually Italian for Chris Yee.
Did not know that. Did not know that.
Yeah.
All right,
Learn something new every
next is one of my favorite covers I've seen in a long time. This is called Unconscious Mind, a game for 1 to 4 players that plays in 45 to 90 minutes from designers Johnny Pack, Laskus, Yoma, and Antonio Zacks, and coming from Fantasia Games. Now, first of all, I mentioned the cover. I'm very intrigued by that, but the artists too. This is a combination. The art for this is going to be done from Andrew Bosley and Vincent Dutrait. Now, Andrew Bosley is probably most known for the art in Everdell, also the art in Tapestry and many other games. Vincent Dutrait known for many of the most gorgeous-looking games of the last, 10 years. But this cover is clearly a mixture of those two artists, right? So the top looks to be Andrew Bosley art, whereas that bottom, that lounging figure is clearly done by Vincent Dutrait, right?
Keanu Reeves, that is, down there.
Got a little bit of a Keanu Reeves vibe, right? Yeah. So this looks gorgeous, and the theme is very interesting too. It's playing off of Freud. Followers who expressed interest in Freud's work. It says so. From the autumn of 1902, a number of followers who expressed interest in Freud's work were invited to meet at his apartment every Wednesday afternoon to discuss psychology and neuropathology. This group was called the Wednesday Psychological Society. And so this is really an intriguing theme. Now, how much is that going to be actually represented within the game? I don't know, but I like the art, and the artists and the design team of what the few I know. I'm interested.
I really like it. I mean, I've obviously not played it, but
yeah,
it's one of my bugbears is the treatment of mental illness within board gaming. And this looks like it's not using mental illness as a horror trope like all the Cthulhu stuff and things like that, which really grinds my goat. But it looks like it's taking an adult, interesting approach and a positive approach to mental health and therapy, and I'm all for it. I think this sounds like it could be really, really good and really, really interesting. It's such a unique theme. Really, really up for this.
Yeah,
that's a good point, man.
Yeah, I've never seen this theme treated from the perspective of you're the group of people who are intellectually curious about mental health. And if this cover, if this is going to be representative of how the art is used, because at first I read Vincent Dutrait, Andrew Bosley, and I thought those two artists are not artists that mesh together. But if the idea is that Dutrait does more of the grounded stuff, perhaps, and then Andrew Bosley does more of the stuff in the mind, the imaginative part.
Ethereal.
I think that's going to make the ethereal. I think that'll be a killer combo.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah.
So it sounds like one we're all very excited about.
Yeah.
All right. This is interesting. Asmodee games, some of them are getting comic book treatment. Now, we've seen a little bit of this with some of the Kamon games or Simon games. I can never remember what they're going with now. Also,
Simon currently.
There we go, Simon. Also, I know that Gloomhaven has done some stuff in the comic book world. So this is something that has been happening, but these are some pretty big properties that are being turned into comics. We've got Legends of the Five Rings, which has been RPG and board game, tabletop games. Mysterium, Pandemic. So the Legend of the Five Rings and Mysterium, I think, would be interesting. Pandemic, I think, it seems to me like, is that going to be going more of like a Walking Dead type of a feel for that? Or I don't know. What are your thoughts?
It's about time we got a comic of the film Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, I think. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be good. I'm a big comics fan, but I'm always just like with licensed board games for IPs, you've got to be a bit kind of wary. I'm always a little bit wary of IP comics trying to sell me stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it just depends. I think there's scope for interesting stories to be written around all of them. Out of all those, I'm not very interested in Pandemic, it must be said.
Right. I think Mysterium is the one I would be most interested to see what it does. Maybe because I don't have any background in Legend of the Five Rings. I know it's a very beloved intellectual property. I just don't know much about it.
Yeah. I think Mysterium has the most open room, that you can do anything with it. There's not a ton of story in the game.
Right.
Seance, find a ghost, right? That's about it. Whereas Pandemic, I think we understand the general scope of what's going to happen. Also, I have less confidence because of that awful Pandemic book cover we saw months ago.
Yeah, that was shocking. To use a Dan Hughes term, that was shocking. All right. Our final news item, I think, is really interesting and really cool. This is coming from Catan Studios. They have partnered up with a Chicago-based artist who I believe is Cesar Perez. He has a kind of a stylized name, but he has been commissioned by Catan to do a mural in Albany Park to celebrate community in the Chicago area. And so you see some pictures there on the screen of this work in progress. I think this is a really, really cool idea, kind of, it doesn't feel like an ad, you know what I mean? It feels like it's a nice way of kind of celebrating community, showing off a little bit of some of the art, but it's stylized and it's also supporting local artists. I think this is a really neat idea. So I just thought we'd end with this one because I think it's a neat idea. And I've said that about 12 times.
It's nice. I want to know what they're painting over. Looks like they're painting over something. I want to know what that was. It looks
only good. You, Dan. Only you.
I don't know. It might be interesting. But it looks really good. And as you say, it's good that it hasn't got like Catan branding all over it because that would be just a bit.
Klaus, Toy Birds, Catan.
Available in the shop next door for But no, this. If you didn't know what Catan was, you wouldn't know this was a Catan thing, but it still kind of keeps its flavor with the red sun and things. It's lovely.
Right. And if it's surprising that Catan is still such a big name that this is relevant. This is cool and it's that successful. And as someone who, I feel like I've played Catan out, I don't play it that often, but it's still culturally impactful.
Cool. Absolutely it is.
And I think that's down to their marketing, to be honest. It's about constant push to keep it relevant.
If my old eyes aren't failing me, it looks like it's actually going to be officially unveiling to the public today. So very cool. Hopefully some people show up and celebrate a local artist. And I just think that looks very nice. All right, well, that's it for the news. We're going to have a couple of more contributor segments, and then we'll come back and say farewell. But let's kick to some contributors right now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Today we are continuing our look at holiday games. Games, put in your suitcase, go on the plane, go on holiday. Today we're looking at Corinth.
We're not going to Corinth. I mean, we wish we were. Imagine that. Greece.
It's a great little Days of Wonder game. Another great game by them. 2 to 4 players, and it's a roll and write, which I really, really like.
Yeah, I mean, this is very standard roll and write fare, really, but it works really well. It's a lovely little game where you've got basically this marketplace board, and you roll your dice and allocate your dice on that sort of low to high. And then you choose which set of dice you're going to use. So you choose some and then mark off your either goods from the marketplace or buildings you want to build,
get money,
or
get gold.
Gold or goats.
Get goats.
You can buy goats.
When in Greece, buy a goat.
You want to buy a goat, really, don't you? So you mark that off, and then the other person takes one of the dice or 2 of the dice or whatever and allocates theirs. You cross it off, and then you roll again. You do the same thing. And basically, it's just a selection of the dice and marking off things to get the most points that you can. Be the first one to do stuff, that kind of stuff.
It's a great little theme as well. Lovely little illustrations.
Yeah, it works really. Yeah, I mean, being Days of Wonder, it looks really great. As you say, the illustrations are fab. They look really nice, cartoony sort of Greek history thing. So yeah, nice theme, especially if you're going on holiday. Greece, lovely, beautiful. Corinth, Days of Wonder, great game, and it's only small as it is.
Works well for 2 as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But but you can actually decant it. It's a couple of little pads this size. You can decant it and some dice. You know, it doesn't have to go in that box really. So a great game to take on holiday with you. Buy some goats.
Buy some goats, definitely.
Enjoy your breakfast, people.
Bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Bonzinator. You can call me Bonz for short. I am a Twitch board game and video game streamer. Recently, I've started playing more physical board games on stream. A lot of them have been solo variant, and that's because I pulled the board game off of my shelf, read the rules for how to play solo, and actually did it. And that made me start to think, what if we all came together and worked on our board games as sort of like a group project? So I started streaming 1 day a week called the Late Night Stream with Bonzinator. And I started this thing called Board Games Anonymous, BGA. And at BGA, we all come together and we work on projects for getting our board games one step closer to the table. Because at Board Games Anonymous, there are 3 steps to success. The first step is admitting that you have a problem. I buy too many board games. Step 2, I can't stop buying board games, but I'm actually not even playing them. Step 3, what if I did not buy any more board games until I started treating the ones that I already own with more respect? And that is how Board Games Anonymous was formed. We as a community come together every Monday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time on my Twitch channel. And we work on folded space inserts. We work on sleeving cards that we have yet to sleeve, painting minis for certain board games, punching out pieces, unshrinking the boxes that we bought but never cared to open. We want to care for the board games that we already own. So you are welcome to join Board Games Anonymous every Monday, put together some folded space, sleeve some cards, unshrink a new game that you got months ago.
And that's another board game breakfast. Thank you for everyone showing up and joining in on the live chat. Thank you to Dan for coming along here. It was a pleasure, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Was Dan and Cora in those segments? I didn't get to see them. I like those two. They're really good.
I don't think we had a Dan and Cora segment this week.
One half of that segment carries the other. I'll let you guess which one is which.
Yeah, I do carry a little bit, but I'm quite fond of her.
Just a reminder, if you came in late, that we had a contest. So after we're done, just go back to the beginning and check that out for Super Truffle Pigs. And also, we're going to be doing more. We have more going up on the channel later on today at 2 p.m. We've got our live top 10 with myself, Chris Yee, and Roy Cannaday, who's going to be not only participating in the stream, but running it as well. He's a man of many talents. This is going to be top 10 games with perfect theming.
Why aren't I in that top 10? I thought I was replacing Tom. Why aren't I in that top 10, Mike?
What would be your number 1, Dan?
With perfect theming. Star Wars Rebellion.
Invalid. All right. That's a good choice, I guess. We'll find out. Let's see if it's on any of the lists, Dan. We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, not on your list.
Come back at 2 o'clock to check that out. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Until next time, I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Dan Hughes.
Have fun eating beans on toast.